You are tuned into the Black Nation of Israel. It's rainy weather here in Texas. Today I will be discussing about the 12 tribe chart in relation to the tribe of Issachar. In relation to the tribe of Issachar. You know, the camps never discuss that the Mexicans, the nation Mexico has a permanent seat on the United Nations, or to the United Nations. Mexico maintains a permanent seat or represented to the United Nations in New York and also to other United Nations agencies that's based in Geneva, Nairobi, Paris, Rome, and Vienna. They are represented to the United Nations all over the world. Not only here in America, in New York, but all over the world, in Rome, in Vienna, Paris, Geneva, overseas, they are represented. Now, when we examine Deuteronomy 28:46, it says that the signs shall be on the Israelites all the time, forever. Not just sometimes, but forever. To let the whole world know who are the real Israelites is. These people are not our biological, they are not our family. They don't fit all of the curses that is showed or examined in Deuteronomy 28 verses 15 through 68. And this is not hate. This is not hate. This is just true facts. Let me tell you what I seen a day ago. I was walking to the store, to Walmart in my neighborhood. And I just happened to look in a restaurant called CC's Pizza Place. And lo and behold, I seen, nothing but Mexicans. They manage that place of business. They franchised it out. But they only hired one black person. There's one black female working in there. And all the rest was Mexicans. And they do this in other places that they operate and manage and own. In Mexican restaurants like Chipotle. It's a Mexican restaurant called Chipotle. It's owned and managed by Mexicans. And this is proof that they are not experiencing all of the curses all the time, like the scriptures say. See, because they got many businesses. And when they go in business, what do? They hire their own people. And I look in these places of business and I only see one black person hired. Usually, most of the time, 98% of the time, it's a female, one female. Why can't they hire 4 or 5 African American Negroes? You know why they don't do that? Because they would rather have one. It's easier to control, and it also makes them feel superior over us. It makes them feel superior. You see? And that's slavery, really. That's slavery. When you hire one person, and usually it's a female. My point is that they are very selfish toward us, and they want to have us in slavery, only one hired. They only have one African American Negro. That's an insult to our people. They are adding injury to insult. Insult to injury. Excuse me. They are adding insult to injury when they hire just one Negro. Every time I look into these places of business, I only see one Negro female, African American female. And some of the businesses, they just do not hire no African Americans at all. You would never see 2 black or 3. You would never see 2 or 3. You would always see one. I see this in Texas all the time, in Texas. That's slavery. And then you got these camps saying that they are our people. They are Israelites. They giving our heritage to these people. They showing us that they don't really care about us. When I go to black businesses, like I see a few of black businesses, restaurants. It's a black-owned business. If we hire Mexicans, we're going to hire more than one. We'll hire 6 or 7 of them, and they cooking in the restaurant. A black-owned business. I've seen like 2 or 3 black-owned businesses, and it's many more, in Texas. And when our people are not selfish, we are very generous to them, and we'll hire their family members. I've seen it. This black-owned business hired a lot of Mexicans to cook for them. Why can't they don't do that with us? They won't do that with us, though. See, this is how you know Mexicans are not our bloodline. They are not our biological family. And we need to stop giving our Israelite heritage away to them. The 12 tribe chart is false. It's pseudo. You see, when they hire blacks, they only hire one. But when we hire them, we have 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. I've seen this. Let me know in the comments section if you have seen this too. And I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. See, we are generous to them, and they only have one of us. That's slavery. I never seen a black business when they go into business and they hire one Mexican. It's always 5 or 6 or more or 7, and they hire, and sometimes it's more than that. It all depends on how many of they needed, but they never, blacks never hire one Mexican. That's an insult to our people, and we being reduced to slavery. See, they know what happened in history. They want to just see us as slaves. You see. Yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's going on here in Texas. I see it in Texas all the time. In their places of businesses. And they have a seat on the United Nations, at the United Nations. We don't have a seat at the United Nations. We don't have it. We do not have a seat at the United Nations. There's no seat saying African American Negroes or just Negroes. You see. But they do. Mexicans have a seat in the United Nations. They are being represented. We are not represented. And many people will say, well, it's African nations that are represented in the United Nations. Yeah, but the African nations are Hamites. The leaders of those African nations that have a seat and represented in the United Nations, those are Hamites. They are not Israelites. Now, it is Israelites in Africa. The 10 tribes is in Africa. But they are not the leaders. They are not the leaders that's having a seat. The country is not Israel that's represented. You see, Israelites dwell in Africa. Common people, ordinary people who is living in Africa, the 10 tribes. But those Israelites are not represented because the leaders are Hamites. You see, the Israelites are Negroes in those lands. And another thing that needs to be discussed is that when the world started out, Adam and Eve was black. The seed of what I'm trying to see. It's all black people are not Israelites. That's what I'm trying to say. All blacks are not Israel. You have blacks that is the seed of Adam. And Israelites are the seed of Adam, and we are the chosen people. The Africans, the black Africans, are the seed of Adam. But they are not Israelites. You see what I'm saying? That the black, brown, and dark-skinned Africans are the seed of Adam. But they are not Israelites. It was only a distinct group of people that was chosen to to be the chosen people, the elect, the 12 tribes, and they were scattered abroad. The 10 tribes is in Africa, and Judah is in the 4 corners of the earth. And so when we are not represented in the United Nations, we are not represented. We are not, the Negroes are not represented. You know, it doesn't say like we are called African Americans over here. You know, but we are not represented. It doesn't say African Americans. It doesn't say Negro. The United Nations seat doesn't say Negro. It doesn't say African Americans. You know, the Zondervan Bible Dictionary proves who we are. It says the Negroes are not Ham, are not Hamites. The Negroes don't belong to Ham, the African nations. The reason why they wrote that in there because they knew that we was of Shem. They knew that we was of Shem. Israelites. You see? But yeah, this is what I wanted to share. That the Mexicans are represented at the United Nations, but we are not. You know. And they treat us with contempt. They treat us with contempt. Mexicans. Yeah, you're getting the bitter truth about these Mexicans on this channel here. And other channels as well. They treat us with contempt. Worse than white people do. And this subject, every now and then, it needs to be revisited. Because those camps are going to continue they're going to continue pushing that 12 tribe chart. So every now and then we got to revisit this subject here. We should never stop talking about this subject. And I commend the other brothers. I commend, I'm glad the other brothers are bringing this out, talking against the 12 tribe chart. I'm glad they're doing it. That's good that they're doing it. I hope they'll keep it up. Because this is the sooner we start realizing just us and start loving ourselves and stop giving our heritage away. Every time we get something valuable, every time we receive something valuable, we give it away. Because we've been conditioned by Christianity. White Christianity, the white man's religion, Christianity, is what taught us that. We need to get out of that mindset because all of the other nations are not like that. You don't see the Japanese and the Chinese trying to assimilate with other people, and they still prospering. You don't see the Koreans when they come over here. The Arabs, when they come here to America, they don't assimilate. And yet they are prospering. You see that? We still haven't learned. We still haven't learned because the white man's Christianity in these churches have did a whammy on us, messed our minds up. This is the reason why we like to give our heritage away to other people, or even if it's just something valuable that we cherish, we always like to give it away. Give it away. Now at the time that we waking up and finding out that we are the real Israelites, now we want to give that away. You see. It's pathetic, and it needs to stop. Okay, stay tuned for more. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel. Peace. Signing out.